if the universe were to start over again, like completely start over, in 40,000 years, in a million years, science would still prove that 2 and 2 plus is equal to 4. Sunlight makes plants grow.
Yeah.
That planets move in an orbit fashion around things. So obviously there's no human race, but different creations of life appear. Would religion appear in the same way? And the answer is no, it couldn't do.
Yeah,
because it's within our minds, it's within our hearts. So it needs us to do it. Science will forever be true.
Have you mentioned about afterlife, hell and heaven. Was there a reason you asked that question?
I just didn't know, obviously I know you believe in heaven, but I didn't know what your whole, when you die, what happens, whether you can go to hell, whether you can repent and all that stuff. But
so,
not that I've done terrible things and need repenting.
No, look, we all are sinners, you know.
Yeah,
let's admit that. We all sin. we all sin in different ways. But the thing is, the key difference between Islam and Christianity is it starts at the beginning. You remember the story of Adam and Eve? So in Christianity, the story goes like this, that Eve is the one who actually gets obviously hoodwinked by Satan. He comes in the form of a serpent or something, and he basically tells us that this is good. Even though God forbade them to eat from that fruit, Satan convinced her that that is good. Okay, so she basically eats of the forbidden fruit. She gives it to Adam. Adam also takes the fruit. They both knew that this was wrong, but they do it. And after that, God basically punishes them by removing them from paradise, and also that progeny will be punished. I don't know if you're aware of this. So the punishment of the female children is that they will get pain during childbirth. The punishment for the males is that they will have to toil the earth with sweat and blood and stuff like that. So this was the narrative there. So it means that even though Adam and Eve sinned, the sin is visited upon their children. Now in Islam, we don't have this. In Islam, it's very different. Okay. So Adam and Eve do actually sin. In the Quran, it says they forgot, hence the sin. So it wasn't a deliberate sin. Okay. It is that the term insan itself means like someone who forgets. Yeah. So insan is a term for basically humankind. Yeah. And we do forget. So Adam forgot, and there's no mention of sin, like Eve is the one who committed the sin initially. There's no such thing. That's number one. Number two, that as soon as they realize that they have done wrong, they get words from God to show them how they can seek forgiveness. So straight away, there was a cure for that. Yeah, a cure in the sense that if you sin, the idea is to turn back to God, that you sincerely repent and seek His forgiveness, and He will forgive you. So there is no sin being imparted to the progeny, and also you are forgiven as well. So while Adam and Eve were in paradise, they were forgiven already. Okay. But the fact that God still told them to go down to earth is because before they were created, God already decided and He planned that they will be His representatives on earth. So that's the key difference between the Adam and Eve story in the Bible versus the Quran. See, in Quran, we don't believe in the original sin, because that is unfair, if somebody's parents sin, why should the children suffer for that? Yeah. That's unfair.
Okay, can I ask then?
Yeah, sure.
Where, science, because obviously it's like, if you believe in science, it's a big fan and all stuff, how does that fit in with, the original stories in Islam? Yeah,
it's a good question. So Muslims and Islam itself doesn't say that science and religion cannot coexist. What is science? Science is a study of the naturalistic world. So they will observe the stars, and they will observe the planet, and they'll observe the oceans, and they will say, okay, this is how things work. This is how things are. But they'll never be able to tell you how things originated. So they can go as far as, say, the Big Bang, but how did that originate? Where did it come from? Matter, energy, all these things just don't pop out of nowhere. Because then you're believing a big magic, you know, like some sort. Say again?
But it does.
What does?
That is exactly what antimatter is. When
what do you mean?
Antimatter and matter collide,
yeah.
that creates a big bang.
No, but exactly my question is before the Big Bang. So let me ask you something. According to science, can something originate from nothing?
I'm not a scientist.
I didn't say you were.
But I will quote you this.
Yeah.
Something that Ricky Gervais, of all people.
Ricky Gervais, the comedian.
Yeah, and he said this on an American talk show.
I don't think he was a scientist either.
He was talking to someone, because he's very atheist.
Yes.
The person who was interviewing him was very religious.
Okay.
And he said, how would you go about disproving religion to be not a fallacy or something? It's a faith. It's a core faith of being human. You get that? But he basically said, so science proves facts, numbers, science, chemicals, reactions, events. If the universe were to start over again, like completely start over, in 40,000 years, in 1,000,000 years, science would still prove that 2 and 2 plus is equal to 4. Sunlight makes plants grow.
Yeah.
That planets move in an orbit fashion around things. So obviously there's no human race, but different creations of life appear. Would religion appear in the same way? And the answer is no, it couldn't do.
Yeah,
because it's within our minds, within our hearts. So it needs us to do it. Science will forever be true.
Okay.
In whatever form we do it. And the Christian host of the show shook him by the hand. I said it very ineloquently. But the point being,
no, you were quite eloquent actually.
Come around them again and again and again and again and prove the same.
No problem.
Religion will never come back in the same
way. If Ricky Gervais,
if we were to do this again,
that's fine.
And it was a very good point.
Yeah.
I get that.
No problem. Ricky Gervais asked a Christian. If he had asked a Muslim, the Muslim would have said, regardless of what he talked about in this hypothetical situation, where if he had to restart all over again, why does he assume the universe will be the same all over again? It could be something different.
Science proves.
But I'll let you speak now. Allow me to speak.
Yeah.
Okay? Like I said, science is only the study of our existing universe. It doesn't mean that they are accurate all the time. For example, there was a point in time when scientists believed that the universe was static. Today we have more information when they believe it's expanding. The Quran mentioned this 1400 years ago. Religion doesn't mean that it doesn't incorporate things about the universe. The universe was invented by God. Do you think God doesn't know how it works? For example, there's a chapter in the Quran called At-Tariq, and it basically talks about the pulsar star. You know, if recently NASA has, shown us the sound that emanates from the pulsar star. It's like that of somebody's knocking. The term Tariq means the knocker. And it's talking about this pulsar star, a time when 1400 years ago, when they had no special equipment to listen to how the sound is produced from these stars, which are millions of miles away. Now you tell me, where did that knowledge come from? Long before NASA even existed.
Well,
that's how I would have answered Ricky Gervais.
Possibly,
because he didn't get a chance to ask a Muslim.
But then Nostradamus 600 years ago, with hindsight, shows that he predicted many events of recent times.
Yeah, but many things Nostradamus said were completely absurd as well. If you have actually studied what Nostradamus said, many of the things that people think that he actually predicted correctly, they were so vague, not even specific. But you see in the Quran, there is a chapter called Surah Al-Rum. Rum means, Rome. In Surah Al-Rum, it talks about a war taking place between the Persians and the Romans. And initially what happens is the Persians defeat the Romans. This was like before, the war happens like when this particular chapter, so the war had already happened or in that time. But then the same chapter, it predicts that the Romans will defeat the Persians within 3 to 9 years. Yeah? And that prediction came true. Now, the way the Romans were defeated, while like almost they were finished, there's no way they would have come, and nobody could predict how long it will take for them to defeat the Persians. Because at that time they were both superpowers, you know. So we don't know when it was going to happen. But the fact that the Quran predicts the exact timing, and the reason it didn't say exact year or something is because, you know, when wars happen, they don't happen like in 1 year. Sometimes it can extend over several years. So they might defeat one particular place, and then they have to move to another place where another war takes place. So there are many things in the Quran which talks about predictions of the future. For example, also the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, he predicted that barefoot Bedouins will compete with each other to build tall towers 1400 years ago, when they had no oil. Well, it wasn't discovered. Might be under the ground, yeah. It wasn't discovered. And they were extremely poor. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said barefoot Bedouins, who were so poor that they did not even have shoes to wear, that one day they will compete with each other to build tall towers. Where are the tallest towers today? Yeah? In Arabia. Look at Dubai, look at Saudi Arabia. They're literally competing with each other to build this half-a-mile tower, another one competing to build a mile high. This is coming true while in our lifetime. So there are many things which are predicted, which came exactly to the point.
If Islam is truly, like, you know, if God created the universe and the universe is everywhere, obviously.
Yeah, everything that exists, we believe
so
that's the universe.
So is Islam or Christianity or another form of religion that some alien life has that we have yet to encounter.
We have no idea. Is there a point to this question?
No, but
I thought there was a point. I thought we were going somewhere.
But the point is, there's no point to this conversation. The point is because we cannot prove.
No.
There is no God. We cannot prove there is God.
Wait. When you say proof,
this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. It's faith. Do you believe?
No.
I don't believe.
Okay, that's fine. No problem.
You do believe.
Yeah.
And I wish I did believe. My partner can back me up. I genuinely do.
So are you an atheist? You're an atheist?
Yes.
Okay, so you're a Christian, you're an atheist. No problem. No problem. That's fine.
I'm more open-minded.
No, that's fine.
No. I am very open-minded.
Okay.
But without proof, I struggle to accept.
Fair enough. That's a fair point.
Come to me and say, look, here we go. This is the proof that you need. I will sit down with you and discuss this for hours, for days.
It's a fair point. When you say you don't have proof, let me ask you first. Do you have a criteria that will tell you that, okay, if I observe this or if I know this?
I need you to prove it to me.
No. Let me make my point first. When you say proof, what do you have in mind? What kind of proof will you accept?
Aside from a time machine to go back and prove that all of these historical events...
Let's be realistic. What realistic...
Well, if we're going to be realistic...
No, but exactly.
Then if you think that God is everywhere, then on another planet, Islam...
Actually, I didn't say God is everywhere. I didn't say that. So don't put words in my mouth. We believe that God
created everything.
No, He created everything. Look, just because you create something doesn't mean you have to be in it. If you're a carpenter and you make a chair...
Bad father, bad parent?
No, hear me out. If you're a carpenter and you make a chair, are you in the chair? If you're a carpenter and you make a chair, are you in the chair?
Are you in the chair? I am watching the chair. I am aware of the chair.
You make the chair,
Exactly.
you sell the chair and everything.
You don't need to be associated with the chair other than you making it.
That to me just sounds like a bad parent who...
You're not a parent for the chair, are you? Come on.
You make the
That's
chair and you...
I gave you a specific example so that you would understand logically that this is showing you logically that you don't have to be either associated with the chair other than you being its creator. And let's say you basically make the chair and you sell it to a client.
I want to know where this is going.
This is going on YouTube. If it's okay with you guys. Okay, so going back to my question, what proof or evidence would suffice for you to know that God exists?
Well, then, let me just, before I answer it, let me fire the same question straight back at you.
Okay.
Because you have
So the question with a question, is it?
But you have no proof. You have faith.
That's not true.
Nobody has proof.
That's not true.
What proof do we have?
Okay, so
What proof do we have?
wait. I asked you a question.
And this is what I was saying. Science proves.
I asked you a question. Are you going to answer that question, or shall I say you don't know?
I genuinely cannot think. What was it? So what would you want? You want some like magical being?
No, you tell me what to prove you'll accept. If you don't have a criteria, how would you know that you found it?
I would need to have some personal experience which
Okay.
shows to me without any slight hesitation that this was the work of a divine being.
Okay, so what kind of personal experience would you prefer? Be more specific. You know what the Quran says? The Quran says there are certain people, even if they are shown that a ladder comes down from heaven. Yes, they
Show me a ladder coming down.
hear me out.
I would believe that.
Hear me out. Let me finish. So Allah basically says that even if a ladder came down from the heavens and they saw this, they will still say this is just some illusion. So people have already made up their mind that no matter what proof is shown to them, they are going to disbelieve regardless. But you see, I don't go just based on faith like the way you put it. I go based on my understanding by logic, all right? And by the faculty of reasoning God has given me. Can science know something that you're thinking? It is not about...
Yes, well, no, yes, it would do, because the whole point is, basically, it's like, so when we're alive and doing our daily business, it's like you're tuned into a singular radio station. Noetic science states that if you are in that particular frame of mind, or you have the open mind, you are open to everyone's thing. So have you ever heard of...
I've not heard a single scientist say that they are able to pinpoint exactly what you're thinking. What you're saying is there is a possibility of these things that exist about out-of-body experience and all. By the way, for the scientists who are analytical and who believe in empirical evidences, they don't believe these things. They don't believe, in fact, they don't believe you have a soul.
So read up about noetic science.
Okay. Out-of-body experience, does it include a soul?
That is exactly it.
What?
It is. So when you die or when you come together, it is effectively the release of a soul.
But do they believe in soul? Do the scientists actually believe in a soul?
This is the thing.
They don't.
Until this is what they're working on literally right now. Apparently the CIA are massively.
You see, now you're going into the religious territory by using the term soul even. Because that is not science, that is actually faith.
Yes,
that is faith.
Yeah, and this is
There you go.
This is what they're worried about.
So you're not an atheist. You're actually an agnostic.
It's because
He's an agnostic, isn't he? Yeah. Oh, we sussed you out, man. That didn't take long. By the way,
you cannot listen to it.
No, I did listen to you. By the way, the scientists who believe in empirical evidence, they don't believe in the soul.
They're worried about what this will do because of the impacts on the world's religions. If this is continued to be proven, if this noetic science does indeed follow the lines to which it points, it will prove that the soul isn't a piece of you which, when you pass on, is released into the...
You're in the religious territory now.
No, it's a physically...
Yeah.
It's a physical part of your being.
Okay, by the way,
religious.
what you're talking about is not established science.
Not yet.
Exactly. So I talked to, when I asked you the question, it was about established science. Can established science...
There's no such thing as, but there's established science.
No, but
established science.
You know why I asked this question? Because the science to this day, they do not even have evidence of consciousness.
I don't mean this with any disrespect.
Yeah.
Do go read up on noetic science and what it is.
No, but you already said it's not established science. So let's stick to that. Okay, I went based on your own testimony that it's not established science. So when I say science, I mean the naturalistic scientists who believe that the consciousness itself they don't have evidence for. Go and look up the term hard problem of consciousness, and you will come to the understanding that the scientists, everyone believes by faith that they are conscious, but they cannot objectively prove it. That is called faith. This consciousness, it is the center of what everything you think about, every question you ask, your faculties of reasoning, all this are basically centered around what? Your consciousness. Without that, we wouldn't be having this discussion here. The fact that consciousness is so central to your being, but yet there is not a single, precise empirical evidence for it. But they believe it by faith. In fact, every single individual believes it by faith, whether they're scientists or not.
respectfully. We'll
No
disagree,
problem.
And one day
Yeah.
we will hopefully learn.
Okay.
what
Definitely, yeah.
is.
So whenever an agnostic and an atheist ask me for evidence, they themselves don't have evidence of many things, but they already believe it. Like consciousness, for example. Like the fact that you believe in love, you believe in mercy, you believe in kindness. You know, there are many people, they can act to be loving and kind and merciful, but they might be like, you know, I don't know, like murderers or rapists. But they are such good actors. The reason that we still cannot use science to determine whether someone is being nice or just pretending to be nice, itself shows us there are many things science cannot prove. So when you try to use science to discover, just one minute, let me finish this. When you use science to ask questions about God, and we know that God is not something that we believe is physical, because the naturalistic science believes in the physical world and it studies the physical world. When you introduce something that is metaphysical, which is not physical, and then try to use a tool like science to discover the metaphysical, that is something that it will not work for you. It is basically like saying, okay, here is a metal detector, go and find me some plastic. You're using the wrong tool to ask questions like, I believe in science, prove to me God. You're using the wrong tool, my friend. Okay, now you can say what you want.
No, I think I
did you get the point I just made?
I absolutely do. And I
no
respect
problem.
Every word you've said to
no
me.
problem.
I
Keep an open mind, my friend.
I would need some...
You're looking for empirical evidence for something which is metaphysical.
I genuinely believe I've seen UFOs. And I'm not talking about...
Can you prove it to anyone objectively?
No, because I wasn't...
There you go. So that's your faith. So you have faith in the UFO.
I saw it. I have faith in my
You can't prove it to us. It's your claim. You know, somebody can tell me I saw a ghost. How could I believe him? Like the way... wait. Like the way you are demanding evidence for God. I'm demanding evidence from you that you saw UFO. Prove it to me. Otherwise, it's just a claim. I did not use faith here. I used simple logic. And I deduce from that...
No, you use logic that you agree on.
Do you not agree with the logic I just used? I think it's a very simple logic. And I don't know why you disagree with it other than for the sake of disagreement.
No, not at all.
Okay,
not at all.
Do we agree now that nothing doesn't exist?
To being shown of a divine being.
No, we are coming to that, but first you have to understand what's nothing. Do we at least agree? Do we at least agree that nothing doesn't exist in reality? It is a term we use for something that does not exist.
No, but it's not used in a physical form.
I didn't say it was physical. I said it doesn't exist. Regardless...
Do you feel something for someone you do not know exists?
No. Regardless of physical or...
You're across town, there's someone walking down the street. Do you feel anything for that person?
No, but if that is a person, it's not nothing. We're talking about nothing.
No, but
there's a difference. With all due respect, there's a difference between nothing and something. You yourself defined it as the opposite of something. Something exists. Nothing does not exist. Simple as that. I don't know why you would disagree with that proposition. That's a reality.
I get it. I do thank you for your time.
Okay.
I'm not being disrespectful.
No, it's not about being disrespectful. It's about something as simple as nothing. And if you cannot even agree about that, then I honestly cannot go any further with this, because everybody knows nothing is a term we use for something that doesn't exist. All right. Anyway, let's. By the way, my name is Hashim.
I'm Shane.
Nice to meet you. Very nice meeting you. All right. You too. Take care. Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. May Allah give them hidayah. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.